My dear friends, we are going to discuss and study about the STAR legislation, one of the three acts called as the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. So this has been hailed as a game changer. It has been hailed as a watershed movement for the farmers all around India. Friends, I have gone through a number of articles in various newspapers, magazines, and so on. So the articles normally revolve around the fact that how primitive and how old age method of selling the market produce, selling the farmers produce in mandis set up by state governments is a very expired and primitive method of selling produce for the as far as the farmers are concerned, and how these methodologies are required to be changed if we have to increase the farmer's worth, if we have to increase the profit to which the farmer is entitled. However, by doing so, these articles, they slightly mislead the readers, because I have not gone through a single article which has dissected these laws and have discussed these laws. So no matter howsoever primitive a method may have been followed by us, but the issue is that, are we going to give a remedy to the farmers which is worse than the disease? This is the point around which I think discussions should be directed. But I'm sorry, even in the television media, I'm not finding many people who are ready to dissect these laws and discuss them threadbare with the people as to whether or not these laws benefit farmers. Now, we are going through the first legislation, which is the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020. So we are going to start off from the object behind introduction of this act. Now I am going to read the object part of this act threadbare before you, without any additions or alterations, and then we are going to discuss it line by line. So it says it is an act to provide for creation of an ecosystem. Now I have a little reservation to this word ecosystem. So I have a slight reservation to this word ecosystem, because normally the word used while drafting the legislations, the government officials normally use the words such as for the creation of a conducive environment or a better atmosphere. But ecosystem is pretty, new word with a little corporate touch. So I wonder if the first draft of these laws were drafted somewhere by a private sector law firm in their computers. Now it says it is an act to provide for the creation of an ecosystem where the farmers and traders enjoy the freedom of choice relating to the sale and purchase of farmers' produce. We take a pause here. I'll repeat the first line again. An act to provide for the creation of an ecosystem where the farmers and traders enjoy the freedom of choice relating to sale and purchase of farmers' produce. So a lot of emphasis has been laid on the phrase freedom of choice, which means that why should the farmers not have the choice? They should have choice to sell their agriculture produce to whomsoever they wish to. Say for instance, I had a choice not to opt for MBA but to do law. I had a choice not to do MBBS but to get myself enrolled as an advocate instead of getting myself enrolled as a doctor. So for freedom of choice to come into operation, a person should have XYZ, a number of options that he should he may opt for any one of such options. But are the farmers really going to be thrown around with these options? I don't think so, because so far as the agricultural marketing aspects are concerned, there are just a couple of names that have been thrown around in the air, and I need not name these corporate entities. They are into a number of markets. They are selling soaps, they are into the mobile phone business, they are into production of aircraft, they are into production of movies, they are into production of oil, so far and so forth. So I need not elucidate what I mean over here. But now, yes, when you say freedom of choice also covers within its ambit the freedom to say no. So therefore, if I am a farmer today, I take my agricultural produce, I place it before Mr. A, who says that I am going to pay you rupees 1000 for this produce. I should have the right to say no to him. Freedom of choice also covers within its ambit the freedom to say no. Does this act in reality give this choice to the farmers to say no to a person and to sell it to Mr. B? Freedom of choice should also cover within its ambit the freedom to say no. And that freedom, the farmers are being kept aloof of this freedom. Make no mistake about it. Now, this freedom of choice, I think it's going to work a little bit like the IPL franchisees. Yuvraj Singh for one season was picked up by one of the franchises for a very high amount. And in the next season, the same player, Yuvraj Singh, was not even picked up by any franchisee, even at the base price. So therefore, Yuvraj Singh had options before him. Either he could go and play Ranji Trophy or he could go and play in the Canadian T20 League. But our farmers are not going to get this choice, because the moment you are going to shut down, and I use this word, shut down the Sarkari mandis for them, APMCs for them, they will have no choice. They will have no choice to make but to sell their agricultural produce to a handful of people. To a handful of people, in fact, who may not be more than a couple of entities. I say this because this legislation is a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle where the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle have been carelessly thrown around. And therefore you have to solve this jigsaw puzzle, put all the pieces together, and then only you can come to know about the real intent behind these legislations. Now, at one end, the line that we just read from the objects and reasons of this act, you're telling that the kisans, the farmers, are going to get the freedom of choice to sell their agriculture produce wherever they wish to. At the other end, you are in a very concealed manner shutting the doors of the Sarkari mandis. How is it possible? Let us go through section 14 of the same act now. Provisions of this act shall have effect, notwithstanding anything inconsistent therewith contained in any state APMC act or any other law for the time being in force, or in any instrument having effect by virtue of any law for the time being in force. Now hear it very carefully once again. The provisions of this act shall have effect, notwithstanding anything inconsistent therewith contained in any state APMC act. Now what is meant by notwithstanding? Notwithstanding means in spite of. ये होने के बावजूद, मैं वकील हूं या मैं डॉक्टर हूं, इसके बावजूद मैं वकालत नहीं करता या मैं डॉक्टरी पेशे में एनरोल नहीं हूं. Notwithstanding means in spite of. So therefore, the provisions of this act shall have effect notwithstanding anything inconsistent therewith contained in any state APMC act. Say for instance, state APMC act में लिखा गया है कि सुबह 6 बजे के बाद दिन हो जाता है. तो अगर इन एक्ट्स में लिखा गया है कि सुबह 6 बजे के बाद रात हो जाती है, तो जो प्रोविजंस इस एक्ट के हैं वो पढ़े जाएंगे, बिकॉज दे आर इनकंसिस्टेंट विद द स्टेट एपीएमसी एक्ट. नाउ व्हाट इज एपीएमसी? एपीएमसी का क्या मतलब होता है? एपीएमसी मींस एग्रीकल्चर प्रोड्यूस मार्केट कमिटीज. बिकॉज हमारे संविधान में, इन आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, अ डेलीगेशन हैज बीन मेड. देयर आर सम सब्जेक्ट्स दैट ओनली स्टेट कैन लेजिस्लेट अपॉन, एंड एग्रीकल्चर इज वन सच सब्जेक्ट ओवर विच ओनली स्टेट्स हैव बीन ग्रांटेड the choice, have been granted the rights, the authority to legislate and to make laws. So therefore, every state is having one agricultural produce market committee in place where all these farmers go and they sell their produce. So at one end, you are giving choice to the farmers, but in a concealed manner, you are actually strangulating them and you are suffocating them. You are actually going to It is my perception about these laws. And if you have any comments to make, most welcome. But in my view, they are going to strangulate farmers, and instead of giving him the earlier choices that they had, that say for instance, they could sell it to the private mandis or they could sell it to the state mandis. You are shutting down the shutters of the state mandis, and they'll have no choice but to sell their agricultural produce to only a couple of entities who may or may not be handpicked by the system. I use the word system. So I don't think the phrase freedom of choice as has been used practically operative in context of these laws. More coming. Another perception that is being thrown around wrongfully by some of the television channels is that this legislation would enable the idea of one Bharat, one market. I think this is a wrong perception. I'll give you a small example. Today I may be enjoying with my family at Sukhna Lake, or if I'm in Delhi, I may be enjoying myself with family in say Connaught Place. And today, if I am sipping through coconut water in Chandigarh or in Delhi, then it means that the coconut that was available, you have to go down south to fetch coconuts. So you do not find coconuts, and you have to go down south at least till Goa, because no coconuts will be grown either in Delhi or in Chandigarh. So if the coconuts were earlier also coming to Chandigarh or to Delhi, it means that we already had a one market. So this perception that is being thrown around, that it is because of these acts now that we have become one party, one Bharat, one market, it is a, I think, brazenly mistaken statement to make, that